SnowTrax is sponsored by Ski-Doo. What matters is what's next. Yamaha, conquer snow. And by FXR Racing, full throttle addiction.
I've been really fortunate to be kind of the lead host on a lot of different Arctic Cat contests, but being able to travel internationally and ride over 250 miles from Alta, Norway to Levi, Finland was a trip both Arctic Cat and we here at SnowTrax TV thought would definitely be a ride of a lifetime. The contest ran for over 5 months, and in that time we actually collected somewhere in the neighborhood of 15,000 entries. Before we really got going on this trip, we actually met up with the winner of the contest, Mike Kaminsky, in Toronto. He flew to meet us at the Toronto airport, but in talking to him, it was pretty hard to figure out whether or not he was more excited about the trip or the brand new Arctic Cat sled he was going to win as soon as he got home. Getting to the Arctic Circle is no small task. For us, leaving from Toronto, we had to fly to Copenhagen, then Oslo, and then we ended up in Alta, Norway, which for us was a 15-hour trip with a number of layovers. We met up with our contacts from Arctic Cat, Adam and Thomas, and I'd never met either of these guys before, but I'd spoken with them on the phone, and they were really great guys. They were as excited to be on this trip and doing this as we were and as Mike was.
Traveling to the Arctic Circle was a wild trip. A lot of flights to get here, and saw the snow when we landed. It's amazing the amount of snow that's here for the time of the year.
After we landed, to kind of relax and get accustomed to the time change, we traveled around Alta a little bit, kind of walked around the town and had a look at things. When we woke up in Alta, we were all surprisingly well rested because of the way the flight worked with the time change. We actually got some sleep on the planes. You know, we were all so excited to get riding. Mike was just bristling with excitement. He could not wait to get out and ride. The terrain in Norway was the most foreign to all of us compared to what we were used to riding back at home. It's very open.
Nothing out there to stop the wind. Trails were definitely snow covered. A little rougher than what we're used to. We're used to a very nicely groomed, flat trail.
The trail is natural, so you have many different surfaces to drive on.
Yeah, there's a lot of places in North America where you can experience a ride of a lifetime, but for us as a global brand, we wanted to give the experience not just in North America for someone like Mike. We wanted to take him outside of his bubble and really have him experience on the ground where Arctic Cat provides products all over the world.
They had us set up to meet and visit legitimate, straight up, backcountry reindeer herders. Herders are more like cowboys of the West. I mean, they travel with the herd of reindeer all the way across almost the entire country.
So the lunch we had on the first day, the reindeer herder and his girlfriend that lived out in the tent in the middle of the snow, I think he said 6 months. Reindeer furs on the floor of their tent. They had fresh pot of reindeer stew, I guess I'd call it, for us with rice, and it was fantastic. Nice, it was warm.
And both Siri and Matt were awesome people. The stew was really good, so I stepped out of my comfort zone there. Matt's had a contest laid out for us. So he set up a lasso for us, and he was teaching us how to lasso the way they do it, and had like a tree set up that was like reindeer horns, and we had a competition, and whoever won the competition, whoever could lasso the tree branch was going to get this authentic, great big bar of authentic Norwegian chocolate, which apparently is the best chocolate on the planet. When we left Matt's and Siri, we were actually warm and well fed, which was great because we had a lot of riding left to do. Had another 100 kilometers that day just to get into the town we were headed to.
Today's ride was epic, to say the least. Just the different topography from, like I said, barren land down into woodsy area, deep snow in some places, flat trail in the other. It was nothing like I expected.
The excitement level, as well as a bit of jet lag, as well as a long day of riding, I think was catching up to us. So, you know, we pulled into this, I'm gonna call it a hotel, but it looked more like a castle to me, in the town of Kautokeino. And, you know, we need to get rested up for another long day the next day. So we certainly were pleased to be there, and we were ready for a break at this point. When we woke up on our ride day 2 in the town of Kautokeino, we had a really interesting day planned. It was actually a day I was really excited about because we were gonna do something that seems fairly foreign to me. Ride to Levi and then cross the border from Norway into Finland.
Crossing the border on a snowmobile, it's the first time I've ever done that, and I really expected probably a little bit more. I didn't expect it to be so easy. I thought we'd have to stop, show them our passports, you know, tell them why we're here, typical border stop. It was nothing like that. Kind of wave at the border guard and keep on going.
After we crossed the border into Finland, it was really interesting, again, how things changed. The topography of that area of Finland actually reminded me a lot of being back home. But it was really nice to finally see some trees again.
Coming into Finland, it got to be more like, again, like North American riding. Trails were semi-groomed compared to what we came from, so they weren't as rough.
I think people from America should come over here and ride with us. It's no problem to do that. We got lots of flights coming over every day from US, and it's very simple to get here and ride.
What was striking, I guess, on day 2's ride was really the country of Finland. I mean, it is beautiful there, and it's just so untouched. You know, there's just not that many people in that country. So when you're out in the wilderness, you know that you are out in the wilderness. You're not near something, you're not, you know, just a couple miles from a city. You're out there, and it's untouched, and it's really, really a beautiful place. You know, we were riding trails that were going to take us into Levi, Finland, which was our destination. We actually managed to kind of get our speeds up a little bit at the end, probably because we wanted to get back, but also just to blow off some steam, which was a lot of fun. Mike loved the Thundercat. I mean, he just loved that turbocharged power, and smile on his face, it never left, but was never bigger than after when he pulled that trigger full throttle.
The 1000 and the turbo, I've never ridden a turbo before, and when we got out on the flat lakes and could actually get into it, the thing just kept pulling. It truly is a ride of a lifetime. I mean, I don't know that I would ever get to come back to the Arctic Circle again in my life to ride like this. And it's only because of Arctic and SnowTrax putting on this contest that I'm here. And the fact that Arctic sponsors it and even throws in a sled on top of it if you win, says a lot about Arctic and what they think about the industry and how they want to be branded as a company.
Our guides did a great job. They got us anywhere we needed to go safely, quickly, efficiently. But at the end of the day, you just had to turn around and look at Mike and see the smile on his face. You could just see in his eyes that it was an experience he would never forget. It was an experience for me that I'd never forget. And by definition, it couldn't have been more a ride of a lifetime.
SnowTrax is sponsored by Princess Auto, a unique world of equipment, tools, and more.
This past October, SnowTrax Television as well as SuperTrax Magazine got a once-in-a-lifetime exclusive invite to the inner sanctum of Rotax in Gunskirchen, Austria. We sent Mark to the event so that he could try to spy some of the top secret information as well as find out what's new at the birthplace of every Skidoo snowmobile motor.
Here we are inside the Rotax factory. I'm going to take you on a tour like you've never seen before. You're going to see how super cool, high performance, reliable, and cutting edge power sports engines are built right here in Austria.
Ever since the G4 chassis with 850 E-TEC power landed, the industry's been predicting the arrival of a 600 E-TEC R engine with the same physical and performance characteristics as the 850. Wouldn't you know it, Mark arrived in Austria on the very day the first 600R engines were being assembled. So secret was some of the stuff Mark saw that we can't even tell you about it until later this season.
I told you this was going to be cool. This is the new 600 E-TEC R, the new motor for the G4 600 MXZ and all its variants. Right here, this is the first day these motors are being built. We get to see it firsthand. And so you've just witnessed the birth of a 600R E-TEC for the G4 chassis. This is where it happens, a brand new baby engine, born and alive and ready to go in a chassis in Valcourt, Quebec.
The robotic installation of valve guides and valve seat is made possible by using nitrogen to shrink parts before pressing them into the cylinder head. This kind of advanced assembly technology ensures a perfect, long-lasting fit every time.
We're in the plasma coating section. This is something new that Rotax has put in that makes it easier to make a lightweight engine. You get rid of cast iron cylinder liners in 4-strokes and use this plasma material that has to be put on at incredibly high heat on the cylinder liner right onto the aluminum. So there's no cylinder liner per se like cast iron, and there's a huge weight saving in every motor. But this is huge technology and obviously a very big investment to put this kind of technology into the production process here at Rotax.
Mark was super excited with the lightweight, high durability advantages of plasma cylinder coating and blown away by the incredible size of the machinery involved in applying the coating.
Well, guess what? This is Austrian for research and development, and that door is about 4 inches thick. You don't get in there unless you know somebody. So hopefully I'm going to be able to tell you some stuff about what's going on, but we're going to have to limit our coverage from this point just till we get out the back door of the Research and Development Center. So you know you're getting close to stuff you're not supposed to see when everybody at Rotax gets a little tense. They're tense right now because we're in a prototype shop that's running a dynamometer testing a new engine that's covered up. The dynamometer works differently. It throws the engine around while it's running it up and down through its RPM range. This is cool stuff.
Because the operation of off-road powersports vehicles is severely limited in Austria, Rotax has a huge bank of dynamometer cells which run 24/7, 365, testing and evaluating not just new engines, but sample engines from every production line. Mark found the new 600R in one of the labs.
So few people know on our side of the pond that Rotax is involved very heavily in Europe in go-kart racing. And they happen to be on the cutting edge of the technology that powers competitive go-karts. This is the very first electric go-kart that is competitive with internal combustion powered go-karts.
There's little doubt in our minds after Mark reported on the development of Rotax electric power plants for go-karts, it's likely the company is working on an electric power system for other powersports vehicles.
This is an amazing spot on the face of the earth if you love snowmobiles. Behind me is the reason why Skidoo snowmobiles start so good in cold weather. Now, there might be some of you who would disagree with me, but overall, it's pretty amazing the way their 4-stroke snowmobiles start in cold weather. That's because that room back there is minus 40 right now, and that prototype snowmobile is covered in ice and is frozen solid, and they'll go through a whole regimen tomorrow morning of running the starter and starting the engine to validate the cold weather operation of it. Another cool thing that goes on here at Rotax R&D, and you got to get a look at it at the same time I did. This is super cool.
That wraps up the first segment of Mark's excellent Austrian adventure. But make sure you stay tuned to future episodes of SnowTrax, because we've got even more Rotax news for you later this season.
Closed captioning of SnowTrax is sponsored by Triton Trailers, built for adventure.
The G4 Skidoo, winner of the 2017 Real World Sled of the Year Awards. The motor under the hood, winner of the 2017 RAD Award, and quite possibly the most technologically advanced sled ever brought to market. However, with only half of Skidoo's fleet in the G4 chassis in 2017, it left much to be desired by those who felt left out. We knew the full-line switch would only take a year. Heck, Skidoo told us that when we first saw the G4. But what has an extra year and greater understanding done for the 2018 lineup? Well, for today, it's brought us what I think may be one of the most anticipated sleds to date, the reinvigorated Renegade Backcountry X. Once the beast of flatland freeriding, years have passed and the competition have stepped up their game significantly. So what's Skidoo got up their sleeve, and how much potential is inside the G4 chassis for this style of riding? Trail width or mountain width? What's the best combination for a true flatland freeriding sled? When it comes to Skidoo, they think it's the best of both. In off-trail conditions, it's no question. The Summit narrowed up 38.4 front end would deliver razor-sharp carving, side hilling, and snow shredding. But on trail, it wouldn't be right. So Skidoo opted for a new hybrid front that uses a mountain-like set of A-arms and a trail spindle. I truly enjoy how easy it is to toss this sled around and make it do what you want. And on the trail, well, it's not as planted and confident as an MXZ, but it's not meant to be. It's the best of both on and off trail, and it does a very good job delivering of both fronts. Is it as good as a switchback Assault? Good question. With the front end of this sled a 40.1-inch mountain and trail hybrid, it seems only right that Skidoo would do the same thing with the rear skid, bringing in the best of both worlds and making a completely new design. And that new design is C-Motion, a 146-inch skid, but the tipped rails really shorten up the length you feel behind you. The C-Motion is a new series of rear suspension that takes the best concepts of both trail and mountain and gives us a very capable flatland off-trail skid. It has solid front and rear torque arms and delivers a rising rate motion ratio. It does not have adjustable coupling blocks like our Motion, nor does it feature tunnel adjust. All things I think make for a better off-trail boondocker. There is some adjustment available on this sled on the rear arm, rear suspension shock in the form of a KYB Pro 36 EA piggyback. However, overall adjustment on this sled is something that's missing. With all other players in this category from every other manufacturer offering super high-end piggyback fully adjustable ski shocks, I believe this sled should have them too. I don't believe the average Renegade rider needs 36 clicks of compression adjustability, but the Backcountry X rider, well, these are folks who like to find the biggest jumps and the most technical terrain in the flatlands, and they typically understand how to properly adjust suspension. I believe this sled needs the Freeride 137 shock package. Heck, this is the biggest, best, and most aggressive backcountry Renegade you can buy. It needs at minimum single-stage compression and rebound adjustability in a reservoir design. Now when it comes to the potential and abilities in deep snow, the Backcountry X really pushes this category harder than any other manufacturer has. Polaris offers the Switchback Assault in a 1352 Cobra or a Series 4 2.0. Skidoo raises the bar, offering a Cobra 1.6 as the base track and the option of upgrading that to an Ice Cobra pre-studded, both at 15 inches wide. Now if you're up for the ultimate in off-trail capability, you can spec out the Powder Max 16-inch wide with 2-inch lugs, a track I believe will set a new standard for flotation in this category, as the extra inch of width really helps to increase flotation and keep you on top of the snow and not down in it. At the end of the day, the new G4 Backcountry X with C-Motion is a very solid answer to a category that has been completely dominated by the Polaris Switchback Assault. The trail handling of the backcountry is good. It's not perfect, but it is good. And understandably so, a flatland freerider will show some drawback in one area or another due to the fact it's covering more bases. However, it does do a lot of things really well and does deliver exceptional engine performance, reliability, and efficiency. along with room to move around on the running boards, as well as an incredible clear out. Keep in mind as well, with the tipped rear rail profile, your ability to back this sled up in nearly any condition, and that's hugely improved, allowing you to maneuver in ways straight rail sleds just won't do. Competition in this category is fierce and on point, and I'm not here to give you anything except the truth as I see it. This sled is great off trail. It's good on trail, but it is yet to be determined if it's as good as its competition.
SnowTrax has been sponsored by Polaris, see endless possibilities, and BRP Performance Exhaust, race inspired, trail proven, and by Arctic Cat, share our passion.
If you enjoyed the video that you just watched, like it and then subscribe to our page for more great content from SnowTrax TV.